Eight, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Hello and welcome to Andy Decodes. Just a quick update before I introduce Glenn, who most of you probably already know anyway. So it is now not the 12th dimension anymore. I've just had to integrate it with all the different platforms that I use. So rather than confusing everyone doing Andy Decodes the 12th dimension and this, that and the other, it's just all Andy Decodes. The only thing that's going to stay the same for now is a Facebook group. That's staying as a 12th dimension for obvious reasons. But yeah, so everything else, it's just that same thing, same platform, just different names. So thank you everyone for joining us today, whatever time it is, wherever you are. So I'll just introduce the guest. We've got Glen Richardson from, now I need to get this right, he's the founder of N.E.P.S. Please correct me if I get this wrong, but I've been practicing it all week. Northern England Paranormal Society.
That's correct, yes.
Thank God for that. And also B.U.F.O.N, B.U.F.O.N, which is Glen's, well, he's a founder of that as well, and that's his UFO research side to everything. Now, he does the paranormal, but his main thing is UFO research that he's been doing for over 40 years. So can you tell us what B.U.F.O.N stands for, please?
It's British UFO Network. Sorry.
Right.
And sorry, just to correct you there, it's not 40 years. I'm not that old. I might look it. Right. It's over 20 years.
Oh, 20 years. Just say you've been doing like 10 hours a day, so it all adds up.
Yeah.
Sorry about
that. Yeah, it's British UFO Network.
Where did I get 40 from?
I don't know.
I've probably seen it in the chat or something. Just like that. Pick a number.
They were probably really looking, thinking he doesn't look that old.
Sorry, Glenn.
Sorry.
So, what got you into? Start off first. What got you into the paranormal side of everything?
Well, if I'm honest, I'm interested in all things paranormal. There's, like I said, I've had a big interest for over the years, but what's actually got me into it big time was I've told this story many times, so if people have heard it before, I do apologise, but it started off just as an interest, watching things on TV, reading magazines and case files, whatever I can get hold of. And then I was watching a program on ufology, and my father came in and said, "Oh, I've witnessed a UFO," and wasn't too sure if I was taking him seriously, because he's very sort of. He wasn't a believer at all.
Right.
But he described one night where he was woke up by, how he described it was, this was before I was born. It sounded like a Hoover, and he thought my mother was sort of hoovering. And he checked the time; it was like 2-3 o'clock in the morning. He thought, what's that? So he went downstairs, and obviously, as he was wearing, Mum was still asleep, and it just a big. How he described it for a couple of seconds, with a big red orange glow that just lit up the sky, and then just went off. But when it went off, the sound went, and apparently there was sort of numerous reports in the local newspapers and everything of other witnesses, and ever since then it just got me more interested. So I wanted to get just to know more about the subject.
What year was that?
Oh, I can't remember, if I'm quite honest with you, because like I say, I'm 47 now, and it was before I was born, so it was quite some time.
Right, okay.
But yeah, and so I started reading more books, and I was reading Tony Dodd's book, Alien Investigator, I think it is, and it was just it's an amazing, absolutely amazing book, and obviously he's was an ex-policeman and sort of had his own experiences and talking about that, and then sort of how he got into investigations. And I thought, well, this is something I could do, actually speak to people who've had these experiences. So as much as obviously starting off, it was more of research than investigation, because starting off, I'm not a trained investigator, so I was just basically going around interviewing people and getting to know their stories and their reports of the experiences they've had. I used to advertise in, I think it's Graham Bertel's UFO magazine quite some time ago. And obviously I was just getting phone calls after phone calls, and it just sort of just inspired me more to sort of get to know these people and sort of find out more what's going on. And obviously as time's gone by, I've learned sort of like investigation techniques and sort of taking more data and more reports and logging things.
So do you think it's better to learn your own way of doing the investigating, or for someone to show you how to do it?
If I'm honest with you, I've learned myself. I personally don't think it's a hard thing to learn. No. You just got to you have to have an open mind and be skeptical. Not everything's something from outer space. You know what I mean? And that's what I've learned over the years. You know what I mean? It's sort of, I used to take everything as gospel, and I'm not saying these people are lying or nothing, but obviously they've experienced something, got in touch, and it could be a logical explanation. But obviously, as I started off, it was like everything that someone had seen or witnessed was like, yeah, that's a UFO, that's something from out. Where logically, it's not. You know what I mean? It's only a small percentage that can't be explained. So I would.
Oh, sorry. Go on.
So I personally, like I said, I learned myself, but I don't want to criticize people, but it's sort of, it's a difficult one, because I don't think I know there's these labels going around, and it's media. I mean, I've had articles in papers, and I've been labelled UFO expert. There's no such thing as an expert. You know what I mean? There's no expert in this field, and I'm still learning myself, and I've been doing it for 20 odd years. You know what I mean? It's just sort of so. Cause I know there's people out there where you can pay to be trained and do it and stuff, but I just don't agree with that. It's something I think you learn yourself. It's sort of.
I'll totally agree with you on that, because I did the same sort of thing. Obviously, I watched the TV programs like Ghost Hunters and most of
Oh
it, and
yeah.
all that kind of stuff. So you do pick up stuff and ways of doing it. It does
Oh,
give you like
absolutely.
a helping hand. But do you find that through doing it, you've learnt to not, what's the word, to debunk a lot of stuff rather than just initial belief of, oh my God, it's an orb, it's a creature from outer space?
Funny you should mention orbs, because I'm, as much as I'm a believer in the paranormal, and I say paranormal because I suppose, you know, you could, every category could go under paranormal, but I say generally paranormal for like ghost hunting, if you want to call it. I'm very critical of orbs. I'm not one for me, it's not evidence, but that's, you know, that's my personal thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But it's like you say, you do pick up things, and me personally, how I do an investigation, whether it's through ghost hunting or ufology, I always look at trying to debunk it than rather try to find it, because I think sort of people have been trying to find evidence now for years and years and years, and no one, as far as I'm aware, has come up with something clear cut where you can say, yes, this is definitely. So I think it would take a lot for that, but I think it sort of narrows down your search and makes things easy for you if, you know, you try and debunk it.
Yeah.
Because 9 times out of 10, unfortunately, it is a logical explanation. And I say unfortunately, with N.E.P.S, the paranormal side, we don't do public investigations. We don't invite public. We just do sort of private investigations. So we basically go out to help people. So a lot of the time they are, you know, if we've come up with a logical explanation, a lot of them are quite happy with that, because they think, well, you know, there's nothing major going on.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean. So what side do you prefer, the paranormal or the ufology side to it, or is it a bit of a mix of the two?
It's a bit of a mix. Like I said, it's hard to say, if I'm honest with you, which I prefer. Because like I said, I like all things paranormal. It's just it's sort of, if it was up to me, I'd sort of do everything. But unfortunately, in the UK, there's not a lot of the other types of things. Yeah, you know, like Sasquatch or things like that. You know what I mean? I find cryptozoology interesting, but there's not a lot to go over here, if I'm quite honest here. But the main, like I say, main topics of ufology and paranormal, I just find them so fascinating. But how we work is on the general purpose of helping people and trying to find out what's going on. So we will look for the logical explanations.
Yeah. Have you ever had any accounts or encounters yourself where you have, say you're doing an investigation on whether it's a UFO or the paranormal side, and then the other ones come into play during the investigation?
No, I haven't, to be honest with you. No, none of them have. Not personally. This one's hard to say, because in a way it is connected. I worked on the case a long time ago, and as much as, yes, I am a believer, this sort of, for me personally, without actually seeing something, was the best evidence I've come across, without actually seeing anything. It was a gentleman in Middlesbrough contacted me saying that witnessing UFOs and things, and he has this belief that ghosts and UFOs are connected. So I went out to see him, and it sort of changed from like the ufology side to the more ghost side. And he says when he was I think it was in his mid-20s at the time, and he said when he was a young lad, his mum used to have a lot of negative experiences with regards to ghosts. He said it was more like poltergeists, and she was having a lot of trouble. So he contacted the local local church, and a priest came out and did a blessing and everything.
Yeah.
So I thought, right, okay. So investigated it further, and trying to find out the priest who came out, and I eventually tracked him down. He was working in some boys' home down Leicester,
Right.
and I spoke to him, and you are talking literally like 20 years since the incident happened, and
Yeah.
all I did was mention her name. I told him what I did, and I mentioned her name, and he just reeled everything off as if it was like yesterday. And he's like, you know, that the family got in touch, and people think because you're a priest that you see these things day in and day out, and you believe in all this, because it's not true. He goes, it isn't. He goes, but you know, it's part of my job. I'll come out and try to reassure them that everything's okay, nothing to worry about, and you know, God's looking over them. He goes, so I went. It was a summer's day, and as soon as I walked in, it was freezing, absolutely freezing. I'm like, what's going on here? And the lady in question, was just cowered in the corner, in tears, petrified. And she just looked at the kitchen, and I could hear this rustling. He goes, so I went in the kitchen, and he goes, honestly, there was pots and pans just flying all over the room in the kitchen. And he goes, and I could not believe my eyes. And as soon as he mentioned it, I thought, he's not lying. But you know what I mean? Why would he? And like I say, you're talking 20 years previous before that, and he just remembered everything as if it was yesterday. And,
Wow.
and from that day on, I thought to myself, yeah, there's more to it than this. There is.
Yeah. Have you ever gone anywhere and it's been that active that you've not been able to go and do anything at the location? So say, like with that one, you said you walked in and it was like as cold as. But have you gone anywhere and you felt it was that negative that you didn't want to go in any further?
No. Because this is the thing you see is, and it's sort of, if I'm honest with you, it does annoy me sometimes. I won't lie. But you see it all the time, and as soon as something happens that's not nice, it's demonic. And I'm like, no. You know what I mean? I am religious. I do believe in God. I believe in demons. I believe in all that. But it, you know what I mean? It's like you hear them that they'll ask for a sign. You know, shows that you're here, so they'll get a scratch. And it's like, oh, demonic. The scratch? No, it's not demonic. They just ask them to show a sign. You know, it's sort of. I've been doing this, like I say, for over 20 years, and not once have I thought something was demonic. You know, but I just think people use that name too easy and too loosely. You know what I mean? It's nah.
So like you said, if you're asking for a sign, I think because I've done that. Like I've been out and said, like, can you touch one of us? And me and the other guy, we felt taps on our shoulder. Or there's a lot of air pressure in one ear.
Yeah.
And it was happening to both of us at the same time. And I think people, like you said, people use the word demonic because it scares you. Because even though you're asking for it, you don't actually expect anything to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So when it happens, you're like, ugh. And it's just like an initial reaction.
I don't know what it is about it. I don't know if it's sort of, like you said, I don't want to be critical. Everybody has their own way of investigation, and people have their own beliefs, which I accept. But I just don't understand. Are they trying to make it more entertaining? I don't know.
That's the next thing I was going to go with. Is it for entertainment purposes? Because as soon as you say, "Oh, it's demonic," it's this, that, and the other, people want to know more because they want to see. Without being horrible, people are pretty sick and twisted, and a lot of people want to see the bad stuff.
Oh, they do. Yeah, they do, absolutely. And you know, you do. It's like it does make it more interesting, especially TV. You know, it makes you grip, and it's like, oh, hang on, what's going on here? But really, it's sort of, and like I say, it's down to people's beliefs. You know, and if that's what people believe, then that's fine. I appreciate that. My belief, no, it takes a lot more than for something like that to be out. And one of my beliefs is Ouija boards. I never mix with a Ouija board.
That was
Because
the next question.
yeah, you know what I mean. It's something.
I had a feeling that you wouldn't, but I was
No.
going to ask anyway.
No, not at all.
I've been
And
tempted, but
like I say,
keeps telling me no.
yeah, like I say, you know, it's down to people's beliefs. And my belief is that, you know, there's a possibility you open the door for something else to come through, and do you really want that thing to come through? And for me, you know, a lot of people say, well, you know, if you can use them, they're safe if you use them properly. But that just shows me that they're not safe if you have to, you know what I mean? And when we do an investigation, or I do an investigation, I'm trying to find out what's going on there and now, and what experiences these people having at home. So I'm not trying to find proof as such. So there's no need for me to try and open the door to bring something else out. If that makes sense, I'm trying to find out what's there now.
You don't want to be, like you
No.
say, opening doorways and bringing more stuff in.
I mean, these people have experiences at the home or property or whatever. So I'm trying to find out what's going on. So there's no need to let something else come through.
Yeah. Do you use a pendulum or anything?
No,
or
no.
Just EVP, EMF?
If, like I say, if I'm quite honest with you, that a lot of things that we use are quite basic. They're not all these high tech technology things that people use. You know what I mean? It's sort of it's another thing I don't understand. Of like all these technology keep changing, and they look amazing. Don't get me wrong; they're fantastic, but still haven't found 100% proof that there is a spirit. If that makes sense, where you can physically go. Because I always look at it as getting a piece of evidence and taking it to a court and saying, "Can you prove it?" You know what I mean? And that's how. And I'm like, all these bits of equipment keep changing over the years, but we still don't have the answers. So basically, we just have to, like I say, EMF, especially a K2, because you know it does two jobs with the one gadget it's sent. You know, it sort of picks up electromagnetic field. So you know, if there's any EMF going on, you know, is that a possibility? Because a strong EMF can cause paranoia and things like that. So obviously detects things like that. So there's no EMF in that location. You know, the light's not lighting up, then you think, right, great. But then obviously we use it as a communication tool. So trying to talk to a spirit and getting them to light the lights up. And if that does happen, then, you know, it's like, for me, that's pretty good evidence. So yeah, and like I say, it's things like obviously cameras are a must, digital recorders, to EVPs and things like that.
Do you use any analog stuff?
Any what? Sorry.
Analog, like the old tape recorders.
No, just a voice, just a dictaphone, just a normal voice. Yeah.
No, I was just wondering, because I heard a few people have said it, that on the like the old tape, because I've got an analog and I've got a digital one, and apparently you can pick up a lot more on the tape one. The digital one is supposed to block out a lot of the background noise. I don't know how true it is, because I'm very rare to pick anything up.
I wouldn't be surprised, like you say, because you know the digital, it sort of blocks a lot of things out, so you could be blocking evidence. You know what I mean? And obviously cassette, you know, it's a good valid point. It probably is. Old school experiments are probably better than now. I just think it's sort of, like I say, we don't do private, or we do private. We don't do you know, where we invite guests, public investigations. So I don't know, having all these gadgets and things, I think it spices the night up, or it spices TV up, because they've got all this electronics. You know what I mean? It makes it look a lot more than it is. Where, you know what I mean, you probably couldn't do a TV show on our investigations, because you know what I mean, it's not, unless you're getting evidence, it's not the exciting exciting night, you know.
Well, I do 2-hour live streams in cemeteries and get nothing.
Yeah.
So, but it's proof that you don't always get something.
No, that's it. And
I think that's one of the main bits, I think.
and I've said that to people who we go out to help, and it could be, and nothing's happened whatsoever, and they're like, "Oh, I do apologise." I said, "No, don't apologise." I said, "At the end of the day, just because we don't catch nothing doesn't mean there's nothing here. You know what I mean? You know what you've experienced. Yes, there might be a reason for it." I says, "But if it is something on the paranormal side, you know what I mean? They're not circus acts. They don't just come out, for the sake of it. They come out for a reason." I said, "So, doesn't mean there's nothing here. Just means we haven't caught anything."
Yeah, it's getting there, being at the right place at the right time as well. But there's
Mm.
no way, really, of knowing when that's going to be, unless you have a recurring event, like say 10 o'clock on a Tuesday morning, like first Tuesday of the month. Unless that's a religious thing, not religious, but a recurring account. Then, other than that, you're just guessing.
Absolutely, it is.
Anyway.
No, it is. You're absolutely right. You just sort of, and like I said, that's how we work. It's sort of, it's not necessarily, we have things there to capture if something does happen, but a lot of it, we like to know where the individual's having these experiences, and obviously we look to see if, is there any reason why, seeing certain things, is a slight light anomaly coming from outside that's coming inside, but what might be, and things like that. That could be mistaken for something paranormal. And I know it sounds critical of how we do it. You know what I mean? We are a team of believers. Don't get me wrong. You know what I mean? We do believe in the paranormal and ufology.
Everything that goes
no,
on.
I just think you have to be skeptical with evidence. Well, not, you know what I mean? Like when not everything that comes in is a solid.
Yeah, it's got to be scrutinised.
You've got to look at it that way. Well, I say you got to. That's my belief, and that's how we work. Other people, and when you do public investigation, for me, it's more entertainment than a proper investigation because there's a lot you can rule out. You know what I mean? So it's more, which I must admit, I've been involved in them type of things, but it's sort of it wasn't for me because it's not a proper investigation. It's more entertainment.
Yeah, but like I said, when I go out investigating, because when I first started doing all this, that's what I was doing. And there's a couple of places, I'm in Northampton, local to where I am, and we'd be going and we'd be getting stuff. I don't know if it was the time that was going or the people that I was with, but there's stuff coming up. But like I always say to the people watching it, you decide what you think it is. I don't know. I can only tell you what I'm seeing and what I'm experiencing. What it actually is, I haven't got a clue. I can just tell you what I see. And then sometimes I can't see what's happening, and other people will be seeing stuff on the live stream, and I'm looking. I'm like, I can't see anything. I don't know what you're talking about. So it goes both ways.
That's something else I totally believe in as well. I think if you put an image inside someone's head, they will see it, especially if they're a strong believer. And it's like I do the same, unfortunately I'm on a lot of social media platforms, TikTok, Instagram and stuff like that. But I'll post pictures and then ask the question, what do you see? I never tell people because I think if you put that image into someone's head, 9 times out of 10 they'll come back and go, oh yeah, I can see it. You know what I mean? So I just
thinking about what you're looking at then, and
I think
preconception.
I know what I think it is. You tell me if what you think, and see if we both agree.
Yeah, but then I'll get pictures that people send me. I don't know if it's me, and I just can't see them. People send me something like that, and I'm sat there and I'm like, I feel bad because I'm like, I can't see anything, and I just think it's something to do with how I see things. And even now and again, like, so obviously I'll be on my phone first. I've always got it literally attached to me. But then when I put it on the computer, because it's a bigger screen, sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes I'll look at it. Say you sent me something on Messenger, and I look on the computer, and then I can see it more on that. I don't know if it's because it's a bit bigger screen and it's different pixel ratio or something else, but most of the time I can hardly ever see it on my phone, but I can see it on the PC monitor. Sorry.
No, like you say, it could have something to do with the resolution, because I've been in that situation myself, and when you enhance pictures and have a close look and you see it outlined, but it's sort of, it is a difficult one, because it's, if someone sends me a picture and I literally cannot see nothing.
Yeah. But I said I used to feel bad, but I'll say, look, I can't see anything. I'm not saying there's nothing there. I'm saying I cannot see anything.
That's it. You're not
to somebody else and getting their opinion on it.
It's like when we go do an investigation ourselves and we go to someone's home. Before we do the investigation, I will explain everything of what we do, and it might look like we're very critical and very, like, I suppose in a way, non-believers, but I'll explain this is how we work. We try and find out what is going on, not necessarily, it's like, if I'm quite honest with you, as much as for advertisement's sake, you've got to use the terminology so people know what you do, but I don't like the term ghost hunting. I don't like that, because I prefer paranormal investigator, because there's something going on and I'm investigating it. I'm not looking for a ghost. I'm just looking for the answers of what's going on. If it's a ghost, then we'll say, there's something, not right. I mean, maybe not 100% certain, but we're on the same lines of what you're thinking. But if it's something logical, we will say, well, this is what we believe is what's going on.
But you saying that, I get that a lot, especially from the missus, because she doesn't believe it. She's not really had any definite encounters.
Yeah.
A couple of things have happened when we've both been there, but not so much when before I met her and all that. But some of my mates go, "Oh, he's going ghost hunting." It's like, I'm not going ghost hunting. It's paranormal investigating. Just because I'm going to a cemetery doesn't mean to say I'm stalking dead people.
Yeah.
There could be anything there. So trying to explain it, it's difficult to explain to someone that doesn't understand what it is you're actually doing and that's not into this.
It's like if I was doing a public event and I was inviting people to come to a venue, then I'd probably say, ghost hunting, because that's what everyone's there for. That's what you're looking for. And you hire a venue and you try and capture evidence of the paranormal, of the ghosts. So I would class that as ghost hunting, but that's something we don't do. We don't hire places out and invite people to come along and look at it. Our sole purpose is to do private investigations and find out what experiences these people have.
Yeah, and if you do capture a ghost, whether it's on film or audio, it's a bonus.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's all part of what you're doing. Ghost hunting is part of the paranormal investigating.
It is. And another case I worked on, literally nothing all night, quiet, and like I said again, she apologised and says, "Oh, look, I said, at the end of the day, this is what we're here for. You know what I mean? Don't apologise." Because, just like I state, another thing, we don't charge for our services.
No.
Not a single penny. Not even petrol or nothing like that. We don't charge a single penny. Everything is free. But nothing happened. Went home, and as you probably know yourselves, a painstaking thing of going through hours of evidence. Again, not a single thing. And one of my colleagues doing EVPs and stuff, not a single thing. But he had a voice recorder in his pocket, the full investigation. And when we did, it was only one question. If I'm quite honest with you, I can't remember the question now. I think it was just asking if this person was here. And clear as day on the voice recorder, the answer came through. and it was just outstanding. And I got in touch with the lady in question. I said, "Oh, look, this is what we've got." And she's like, "Oh, thank God for that. I thought I was going crazy." I said, "You know, I'm not saying it's 100% certain that, you know, it's paranormal, but you're saying you're hearing voices, these experiences. This just goes to show that obviously there is something going on because we've caught something." You know what I mean? And it's sort of, if I'm quite honest with you, at this moment in time now, I'm getting shivers because it was just so exciting. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, out of all this, it was like, oh yeah, nothing on the cameras. After hours and hours and hours checking the voice recorders, nothing. And then a colleague Dave of mine got in touch. He said, "Oh, I forgot to tell you, I had a voice recorder in my pocket all the way through. I captured this." So I'm like, "Oh my word, you are joking." I couldn't believe it. That's amazing. Yeah, it was absolutely fantastic.
Well, I just thought the best 2 EVPs I've ever had have been live streaming. So the first one was with Nathaniel Gillis. We was talking about UFOs and aliens and that, and you can hear. I've actually cut the bit out, and it's in the intro. So I'd asked him about, is there life form on other planets or in different dimensions and that, and you hear something go, you know, like a whisper, that as you'd hear an EVP. I didn't hear it. It was Jason Pritchard, who was one of the viewers, and he sent me a message on it and told me that timestamped it and that. I'm like, oh my God. So I got the clip, cut it, saved it, and then put it in that. And then the one better than that, and I didn't even get it on recording. I was interviewing Chris Reinhardt, the Bigfoot guy over in America, and I was having a chat to him before we went live, and he goes, "I've just got to nip to the bathroom. I won't be 2 minutes." I went, "Yeah, it's fine. We've got 10 minutes yet." So he went, and his setup's in the basement. He's in a 3-story house. So he's got the basement, 3 or 4 stories, but anyway, is his below ground level. And he has a sound gate on his microphone so that as soon as there's no noise, it cuts. It's like dead sound constantly. So I'm sat there and I'm just getting everything ready, waiting for him to come back on. And so it sounded like a kid's voice, but that whispery voice again. So I was flying, and it went, it's either "Are you all right" or "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "You said that?" And there's no one about. So then he came back, and he was ready to start the interview. So he said it. So he came on. I went, "Quick question for you. When you went to use the bathroom, was there anyone else in that area, in the basement or whatever?" He went, "There's me in the basement. Then the next person, his missus, is 2 floors up from there." I went, "Oh." So I told him what had happened. Even he got goosebumps. I'm getting goosebumps now. And he got goosebumps because he said that's happened loads of times. They'll just be sat there doing stuff on the computer and it will come through. But they asked me, was I all right? Now, with the first one that said, you know, that came through my microphone. You know when you can work out what channel it is? Now, the one with Chris, that came through his. So it's and that has been, that's got to be the best one I didn't get.
Wow.
I nearly got, and it was because I was okay, that's a bit weird. And I'm looking for someone to pop up on camera. Then Chris comes back in. Obviously, I explained to him, and yeah, that was it.
Unbelievable.
He goes, "Was you recording?" I'm like, "No, nearly crying." I'm couldn't believe it. But when you're not expecting it, you're not ready, are you? It's like even you're still not ready.
No, not at all.
So, story of my life. That's what it is. Yeah. So, a bit gutted. But yeah. Do you want to do some questions? Because we've got quite a few in.
Yeah.
Right. So I'll do them in order that they come up, and then we'll just go through them. So I'm going to read them out only because it's going on podcast. So if I don't read it out, you just answer. People on the podcast are like, "Well, what was the question?"
Yeah.
So this is the reason I read them out. I'm not trying to say you can't read.
No, that's fine.
It's me you can't read. Right. So this first one is from Nellie Kelly. Does Glenn think people are more open and accepting of the paranormal and unknown these days? And what are his thoughts on frauds and fakes? You kind
Absolutely.
of got into that a little bit anyway.
Absolutely, I do believe that 100%. That it's more regards to believing. I think, you know, if I'm honest with you, it probably hasn't changed over the years. I just think more and more people are coming forward. They've got the confidence to come forward, especially I say with ufology. That's been a taboo topic for years, you know. But I do think now more popular, especially with social media and more TV programs, and especially the headlines with NASA and things like that. I think, you know, people have the confidence now, and, you know, not scared of the ridicule, you know,
They're not
coming
being
forward.
shrugged off.
Yeah, which is great. You know, it's great. People do have the confidence. You know, what I mean, you know, we are in this to help people and find answers. You know, there's no sort of competition, nothing like that. So, you know, it's great that these people do come forward, and you know, it's brilliant. Well, fakes. Where do I get started on
I think
fakes?
we all have the same answer on.
I just don't get it. You know what I mean? It's like I say, it's not a popularity contest. It's not, you know, who can find the answers. I just don't get. I just don't understand it. You know what I mean? Because eventually you're going to be outed. It's going to come up, and then, you know, apparently what you do, you know, the thing that you love doing, you're not going to be doing no more because no one's going to trust you. But then again, are these people really into it, or they're just either out for fame, out for money? You know, I don't know, but yeah, it's you know, it's, and this is why I say that sort of, you know, I've known people who took the time actually getting in touch. They'll just ask simple questions, and because I think basically what they're trying to do is get to know me. So I might get a phone call saying that, you know, a family member's having some issues. Can you give some advice? Then along down the line will come out that it's actually them. So they don't know me. You know what I mean?
No.
And this is one of the reasons why I always say to people, you know what I mean? We don't, when people have asked for help and they say, so how much would it be? I said, don't charge. And they're like, seriously? I said, well, no, don't charge at all. And I think for me, by doing that, it shows that, you know, our credibility of, you know, we're not here to fake things or here to, you know what I mean, grab people's money. Or, you know, if there's something here, we'll say that there's something here. If there isn't, we'll tell you there isn't.
Yeah.
Or that's what we believe. But yeah, there's no room for fakes, and there's a lot of them out there.
Yeah, there's probably more fakes than there are genuine.
Absolutely.
Definitely. It's like what you're saying about not asking for money. I ask people to donate, but that's only with the running cost of all this.
Yeah.
Because it's like, as you know, it costs for the music, like the copyright,
absolutely,
the podcast, the website, all adds up. It's not mega, but a little bit of help here and there is
absolutely.
It helps, and it does go straight to that. It's I'll go out Saturday night getting wrecked. Don't get enough.
Well, that's it. That's it. You see, we don't have no overheads like that. You know what I mean? So
yeah, it's just with like the running of everything and keeping it going. Because,
but I know a few people who do that. Who have podcasts and they ask for, you know what I mean, it'd be on the website saying donate. You know what I mean? They're not charging, they're just asking for donations. You don't have to donate, they're just asking. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Not yet. Give it another couple of years and then we'll send the heavies round. People have donated and people do still donate. But as well, if you don't ask, you don't get. So, and if you don't, like you said, if they want to, they will. If they don't, they won't. It's no biggie. I'll still carry on doing this.
Exactly. You're not sort of saying, well, if you don't pay, I'm not going to do it. So you know, it's different from charging someone.
Yeah, it just makes it easier if
absolutely.
You throw a couple of quid here and there.
Yeah.
Right. Anyway, moving from that, in case people think I'm begging. Next question is from Nickname, and she would like to know, what are your top B.U.F.O.N reports? Thanks.
My top UFO reports. I can't go into detail because of the clientele, and obviously it's sort of very sensitive.
Right.
But
Okay.
it would have to be abduction cases.
Right.
They're, that it's a total different situation, a total different investigation. You know what I mean? There's a lot more go into it. It's a lot more, like I say, a lot more sensitive. Because a lot of the times we'll get might get a report through saying they've seen this site, and they'll describe it. And obviously, when someone's submitting a site, and we want to know the shape, colours, sounds, times, dates, locations, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And they can be anonymous, just put it through. But when someone's wanting help, it's a lot more, like I say, sensitive. It takes a lot, because a lot's going on in this person's life, and
Yeah.
if I'm honest, people like myself, it's probably the only people they can turn to. They then go to a doctor and say, well, I believe this is going on, because, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's so, it takes a lot, and it's not just something that sort of can be investigated overnight. It takes time. This person needs to really get to know you, and obviously basically know that you're legit of what you're doing, and the help you can provide, and I do have contacts across the UK who do hypnotic regression. So, if that's something that the individual, wants to go down, then yeah, more than happy to do that.
Cool. Excellent. Well, Joe's put in, he's put my links up, but she did put your links up for Facebook and a couple of the others that you've got. Can't see him now. So, yeah, Joe, thank you for doing that. Quick question related to that. So, have you ever gone out? So, when someone's give you an account and you've gone to the place where this encounter happened, have you ever gone there and then something else has happened when you've got there?
No, unfortunately, no.
Oh, so I want to use stuff, but no one's
I know that's it. I need to start going out sky watching myself. I think a lot of people do. I think I need to do it myself.
No, I was just wondering. That was all, because I've asked a few people and everyone's like, no, nothing. So
no.
Not just me then. Right. Next question, and this is from Umbra, and he would like to know, what is Glen's strongest evidence that can be peer reviewed and studied by others?
I would probably say the EVP we've captured. Because like I say, I know going down the abduction route, if you want to go down that, that's, like I said, it's a bit more sensitive, and I think it's a lot more. I don't think a PA could look at that and establish what's going on. I think you'd have to be more involved. But probably EVP. But again, it's sort of, I'm going to be critical here. It is difficult because, again, unless you're there, this person who's reviewing it, in the back of their mind, they could be saying, well, is it them saying it? Is it one of their colleagues saying? You know what I mean? So it's a difficult question, if I'm honest with you, because, unless you're there, it's hard.
I know, that's it. If you've not experienced that, even if you've experienced something similar, it's still not the same as what they encountered.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, because like I always say, you could be 3 or 4 people witnessing the same thing, but each person sees it different than the next one.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it is a tough call, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right. Next one is from Nellie Kelly. She would like to know, is Glen of the thinking that people forget that nasty-evil doesn't equate to demonic, but is in fact possibly just a spirit in a death. What it is in life. Not everyone is a good person in life.
Absolutely. You know what I mean? It could be, and a lot of people have said exactly the same thing. You know what I mean? You look at these people who are the living, who are not nice people. For instance, Peter Sutcliffe, you know what I mean? Who's to say that if he came back as a ghost, he's going to be a nice guy? Probably not. So it could be something down the line as that. You know, it's a really, really good point, actually. You know, good point to make. It is, yeah, absolutely. And like I said, people straight away demonic. Where no, it just might be not a nice person, just messing about.
Yeah, just like you call them, tricksters, don't they?
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah, that's the thing. We don't know.
No, we don't.
So it is same again. It is a difficult one to answer. Thank you anyway. Right, next one again from Nelly. What investigation stands out the most and why? Do you have one?
That is a tricky one because I treat all investigations as the same.
Yeah.
And I think if you're looking for an answer, I'd probably say the abduction ones, because these people are terrified. Unless you speak to one where I know there's people down the line who are on TV shows, you know, where they talk about things, you know, they've accepted that you know what I mean, they've got on with their lives, but when this, you know, these things are sort of just happening and you're speaking to these people, it's, you know, it's hard to imagine unless you talk to this person, you know what I mean, they just don't know what's going on. They don't know if it's in their head, and they don't know if they're going crazy or if it's really happening. You know, sometimes I think they'd probably rather believe like that it is something going on in the head than they can get help with it. Where if it is a real abduction, you know what I mean, who can help them? You know what I mean? You know, what can anybody do? So yeah, I think they're the ones that.
That's another question. Yeah, it's just for something to happen that they experience it that bad, there's pretty much nowhere to go. Other than a psychiatrist or doctors, and they're just going to throw a load of pills at you.
Well, that's it.
So it's like Ruby's just said, no one can help.
No, they can't. You know what I mean? It's as a ufologist myself, you know, the only help I can do is try and find out what is exactly going on. But for argument's sake, if it is an abduction, I don't want to be horrible, but there's not a lot I can do. There's not a lot anybody can do. You know, it's terrifying.
Yeah, it's like Simon's just said. I was going to say something similar. That I think the only way for you to get help is for you to accept what's happened.
Yeah.
And then go from there.
Absolutely. And it's like all these people you read about and see about on social media and TV programs. I think that's what they've done. They've accepted it and they've got on with their lives. And yeah, they talk about it, which is great. They're open. They're not afraid to come forward. But like I say, they've accepted it and they've moved on.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like I had loads of stuff go on. It didn't scare me at first because I was too young to understand really what was going on. And then as I got into like late teens, early 20s, that's when it started to scare me because I still didn't really understand. I still don't understand now. But it was happening more and more. So I used to get proper freaked out with it. And then it just got to the point where it wasn't a daily occurrence, but it felt like it. So it's like, this is just normal. This is just normal life for me. So what's happening is happening, and it's probably happening to loads of other people, but they're just even not talking about it, or I don't know these people. And it's just like say, learning to accept it and moving on. I think that's all you can do.
Absolutely.
Whether you talk to somebody else or not, I don't think that's got a lot of relevance to it. That's more down to the person
Yeah.
who's having these accounts and how they release what's going on with them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the main bit is accepting it and just go from there. Right. Do one more question, then go for a break. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Right. So this is last question for this one anyway. So this is from Umbra. He would like to know, what area does Glenn consider the best hotspot? Told you couldn't speak. The best hotspot he's ever investigated, and why?
That's the paranormal. I don't think it's a hotspot. You know what I mean? These things happen all over the place. So I don't think it's hotspots for paranormal ghosts or anything like that. That's a difficult one. But ufology, again, I'm not one for hotspots, but there seem to be an increase up my way, up the northeast, around Newcastle and Dunway. Seeing a lot of reports coming in recently up that way. So, you know, you could both classify that as a hotspot. But yeah, it seems to be a lot more than recent.
Yeah, well, I think Umbra's asking that because he's from your neck of the woods. He's
All
up in
right.
Middlesbrough.
So, all right. Yeah.
So I think you might be friends with him on Facebook.
Probably am. I think the name.
Sure you are. Yeah, he's always putting pictures of trees on that he's made. Oh, he's doing a video university course, like filmmaking. Right. So he's doing a lot of stuff like that. But yeah, I know he's from Middlesbrough. Oh, he's County Durham. Sorry, I got that completely wrong. But still Middlesbrough, Newcastle. I'm going to go now before anyone starts shouting and swearing at me. Right. We'll do 5-minute break and then we'll come back to some more questions. Is that all right?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Excellent. Right, guys, get your questions in ready and we'll see you in 5 minutes. Can't find the video then. Right.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
And we are back. Oh, nice deserved break, that. Nice and relaxed. Right. You okay to carry on? Yeah?
Yeah.
Good? Cool. Right. Right, this is from Nelly again. Are there any abductee support groups in the UK that Glenn knows of?
The only one that I'm aware of is on social media. I think it's on Facebook. I don't know much about it. I think it's just basically called Any Abduction Support UK. But I am sort of thinking of setting up one myself, if I'm quite honest with you.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Right, cool. Yeah, we keep us updated as and when.
Absolutely will do.
Yeah. And if you send it, obviously, because you let me post on your group, so if you send it across, then I'll spam everyone
Brilliant.
with it.
Brilliant, thank you.
Without getting kicked off. So going on to the UFO side of it, have you had many UFO encounters?
It all depends.
That you know of?
It all depends on what you mean by UFOs, because I see UFOs every day. It's just basically what it says on the tin, unidentified flying object, and that's what I say to people. You know, I think because I got asked a question not so long ago of why they call them UAPs now, and I don't know the main reason, but my thought was on a case of people have sort of, when you mention UFO, it's associated with something from outer space, where it's not. You know, it's just something that's unidentified. So if it was an alien spacecraft, it's not a UFO. You know what I mean? But I think nowadays, people, as soon as you mention UFO, it's something from outer space, where it's not. It's just an object that's unidentified until you identify it. So yes, I see them all the time, but you know, it could be anything.
Right.
You know.
Can I rephrase the question then?
Yeah.
Do you know of any encounters that you've had with alien aircraft?
Me personally, no, I haven't. No.
Okay, thank you.
I wish.
Not even one that could be close or not.
No. This is what I mean. I think something else I was thinking of organising with people around my area. I don't do enough of it myself, searching, if that makes sense. I've spent a lot of time on the investigation side of other people's experiences, which is great, which I love. But I don't do a lot of searching myself, if that makes sense. So I was thinking of, you know, doing the odd sky watch and looking myself.
Right. No, thank you. Right, there's one here from Nellie Kelly. It's not so much a question. She's just saying that would be a great idea, Glenn, as I think, jumped up then, as I think it is something that is really needed so abductees feel less alone and have others who understand.
Absolutely. And it's something I've looked at for quite a long time, and it's sort of in a way trying to find out the best way to run the group, because it's sort of over the space of a few months, you know, it's sort of, I do have to accept people into groups and moderate people's sort of posts and things in the groups. But I think this is a bit more. I think, you know, it's basically just for people who believe that this has happened to them, not just for any random person who believes in the subject, if that makes sense. Which is no offense to them. It's just a group of basics. So I think I might have to set the group up with certain questions before they get accepted, if that makes sense. Because you know, it's. I know you have to keep scrutinised with it as well, because I've had to kick off a few people out of the group on B.U.F.O.N and N.E.P.S because of abusive and people taking the mick out of people. You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? I'm trying to find the best ways of getting around that and stopping that from happening, if that makes sense, because it does take a lot for someone to come forward.
Yeah, suppose thinking quickly that the only way, the more questions you put on, the more fine-tuned it'll be. You'll get the right people coming through that.
Yeah, I was thinking that because I think, you know, if you believe this has happened, you won't mind filling in the answers. Where if you're just out to mock people and you think yourself, oh, I can't be bothered with this, and probably won't bother, if that makes sense. So yeah, you've got
it's
a
too much
good
hard
valid point.
work for
Yeah,
someone who
yeah,
just wants to ask about.
yeah.
No, cheers. Right, got 2 questions from Nickname, and I'll get this wrong, even though I know what it says. So, what does Glenn think of the Penturch case? Penturch?
Yeah. I think you've got
it.
it's a very good case. Yeah, I've read a lot about that, and you know, it's one of them cases that's right up there, and I do strongly believe that, you know, something did happen. Is the proof? You know, I would say it's 100%, but I do think it's one of them cases that is out there, and I do have a strong belief that, you know, something did happen.
Yeah. Have you ever spoke to Kaz Clark?
Just through social media.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
That's right. I'm just being nosy.
No. Yeah. Just through social media. I think I'm on one of WhatsApp groups as well. UFO updates.
Oh yeah. Because she set a group up, didn't she?
Yeah.
Quite similar to what. I suppose it's similar to what you're looking at doing.
Yeah.
No, she's coming on in a few weeks with Gary.
Yeah,
Jones.
brilliant. Yeah.
So,
but I've got a lot of respect for her. A lot of respect.
Yeah, definitely. Right, nicknames added on to that question, and northeast activity, please. So I'm guessing she means, is there a lot of any activity going on?
Absolutely. There's I think regards to paranormal and ghost hunting, you know, there's a lot, and I think there's a lot everywhere you go. With regards to ufology, like I said earlier, you know, it's getting. I don't know if, like I said earlier, I don't know if it's because people are more confident coming forward, but there seems to be a lot more cases up in the northeast, especially like I say, Newcastle and Durham way. Absolutely. One case. I was working on it. It actually hit the local press. One woman witnessed 3 objects in the sky, and she said she recognised 2 of them as Apache helicopters. So it wasn't a case of.
Sorry, I'll tell you why in a minute.
So it wasn't a case of she recognised that was an helicopter. She knew the make of the helicopters. Now, she says there was an object or a foreign that she could not identify.
Yeah.
So this was outstanding for me, and it just proved that something was happening. Now, through the investigation, and it depends who you get, and I think it depends, obviously, if you've been in touch quite a lot and they get to know you as well, they're a bit more forward with things. But I got in touch with the Ministry of Defence.
Yeah.
Now, they're sort of, you know, told me that yes, there were Apache helicopters deployed in that area on that day at that time, but there was 3 of them. Now, to me, and they said, but we can't sort of disclose what was going on. I said, well, that's fine, but I'm thinking he's just confirmed what helicopters there were that she witnessed, but now he was saying there was 3. Now, to me, it was like, no, she was definitely adamant that she knew 2 of them were Apache helicopters, but there was 1 that she couldn't identify. And for me, that just confirmed that there was something there that they weren't sure what was.
Right. The reason everyone's sick of hearing this, but as soon as they say helicopters, everyone's at home going, "Oh God, no, please." So my first encounter, UFO encounter, I was about 7, 8, or 9 ish. Then, not long after that, I had a helicopter encounter. I grew up on a council estate in Manchester. I'll keep it as short as I can. Don't worry, guys. So the bedrooms in the house were at the back of the house, and the big back garden, and then it's just fields and fields. And this helicopter was there. It got to the point where the windscreen on the helicopter was level with my bedroom window. It was only like 30, 40 foot away, if that. I could see the pilot and co-pilot, could describe it, and it's doing all these different manoeuvres and everything. And then I was going out with my mum. We went out. My mum didn't acknowledge it was there, but I cannot remember it making any noise. Now, I thought it was an Apache because at that age, that was really all I knew. It was either the big bubble, I don't know helicopters, the big bubble type where it's just one person with the joysticks, or the Apache sort. But it wasn't an Apache. It was something beginning with H. I can't remember I know someone in the chat will know the name of it. And the reason I thought it was an Apache because it had like split. Do you know the VW campers, the original? It's got a split screen. It's like that sort, but it had the guns at the side and the colour of it and just the shape of it and all that. So this had guns. I didn't even live in a military area. I lived before they built the second runway. The flight path used to alternate it, so every other day you'd have the planes waiting to land and taking off, so you'd be able to see all that. But yeah, that was my helicopter experience. But I don't believe it was a helicopter,
right?
Because we went out in the street because I was going out with my mum and could still see it flying about, and I do not remember there being any noises, no wind being blown down from it, nothing. Huey, that was it. It's a Huey. So. And that's why I started laughing. As soon as you mentioned helicopters, everyone's like, "Oh God, please no!" So yeah, so that's why. As soon as you said Apache, it's the same thing. And this was like, I'd say between 80 and 82.
Oh,
so it wasn't like there's many of them knocking about in Manchester at that time. Not even stolen ones. So yeah, it's just strange. So just going back to that story. So the one that she couldn't identify, did anyone else?
No, unfortunately, I couldn't get hold of any witnesses, more witnesses, just herself.
And have you spoke to her since?
No.
I was just wondering if she had any updates, if there's anyone else that had contacted her to say that they'd seen it as well.
No, not as far as I'm aware, no.
So with the accounts that you take, do you find that there's more during the day than there are at night, or does it vary?
Well, that's the thing you see. I think people associate it at night time, but majority of cases are during the day.
Yeah.
And people could ask the question of why is that? I think it's plain and simple. More people are out during the day than they are at night.
Most people are sat in the house chilling, aren't they, at night?
Yeah, that's, for me, that's the general reason why I say it's day, because more people are out. So, but yeah, I don't know why people think just associate everything with nighttime. It's like ghosts and stuff, during the night. No, anytime.
Yeah.
Any time of day.
Yeah, I've only had a couple of experiences, encounters, whatever you want to call them, at night. And I'm not including the ones where I've gone out investigating either. These are the ones where I'm just out and about doing whatever, going to work, coming back from work. But I'd say 95% have been daylight hours.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So what encounters have you had, or what experiences have you had?
Me personally?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, regards to ufology, like I say, not a lot personally. Well, I say probably none. Just the odd things I've seen in the sky that I can't explain. But on the paranormal side, I've had quite a few. I've had sort of it's hard to describe. It's strange unless you're there experiencing it, and you might have yourself. But I've had as if like someone's went through me, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And how I thought it was strange because we were sort of discussing that and asking the spirit to do that, and it sort of was going through a few people, and it was coming to me. I'm thinking, right, okay, here we go.
Yeah.
You know, like half-heartedly thinking, is it just them? It's in the head type of thing. But when I felt it, it was absolutely bizarre. You know, it was just so strange. I've never felt like anything before, and from this day on, I just can't explain what it was. You know, it was just so weird. But yeah, I've had a few things. Few things in the corner of the eye. No, this one might make you laugh. There was no one else in the house, and I was having a shave, and it felt like, so I had to look behind and realise there was nobody there, but it felt like someone was like smacking me on the backside. But it was sort of like, and I was looking around to say, well, have I banged into something? I'm thinking, no. And it did actually make me feel uncomfortable. I was like, hang on, what was that?
Yeah.
Yeah, but apart from that, no.
No. See, I've had that a couple of times. Someone pulling at my jacket. I've been at work and I've turned around. There's nobody there. There's only me in that room. So it's like, yeah, right. Get out of here as quick as I can and just don't say anything to anyone. Yeah. So I was going to say, if you had anything happen where I'm struggling to word things today. If you had anything happen to you that sort of left you speechless?
No. Nothing that's left me.
Or anything that you expected more from?
I never expect anything, if I'm quite honest with you. I don't, you know, it's, and I've been in places where places have been very, very active, or like hotels and things that are on sort of social media or on the paranormal, and you know, the Haunted Hotel and whatever. I never go in expecting, because I was in one hotel, and I'm not going to mention no names because I don't want to sort of discredit it or anything, but stayed in the most haunted room at the hotel, and all this was happening, and not a single thing. So I don't. But it's like what I said before. You know, just because something doesn't happen doesn't mean there's nothing there. So I don't expect it. I never expect anything to happen. I just, you know, just if something does, something does. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
Yeah. Well, what about, so say you've had an encounter like, during the encounter, and then looking back, you think, oh, I was expecting it to be more emphasized than what it actually was.
No, if I'm honest with you, no, I've never had that. Because like I said, I think it's like I said before, when I got just that one bit of evidence, it sort of really excited me, and I think, you know, it's okay watching these shows on TV and you see all these things happen, and it's absolutely amazing. And I think unless you experience something, as in like an investigation itself, you don't know what happens. And I speak to a lot of people who I know and sort of like known through life, through school and stuff, and they know what I do, and like, oh, so what have you seen? And I tell them, like, well, that sounds boring. I'm like, it's not like TV, you know what I mean? And I think people expect it to be like that, and I'm like, it's not, you know.
Some of the accounts I've had, and looking back, it's at the time, it's like, wow, can't believe that's just happened to me. And then looking back, it's like, well, that was it. I expected it to be a bit more, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
More magical. That's what I'm looking for.
Like I say, I know it sounds boring or what, but I never expected. I never, and I think that's how I work, and I think it's sort of, in a way, it keeps me feet firmly on the ground, and I think it's sort of
grounded.
Yeah, it keeps me grounded. It keeps sort of like, it's sort of, what. And like I say, to somebody, it might sound like I'm a skeptic or a non-believer. I'm not. I am a believer 100%. I just don't think everything that happens is paranormal.
No, totally agree with you. It's just the reason I was asking that is you hear some of these accounts and it's like, oh my God, how did you survive it? How did you get through it? And then you have, like, you might encounter the same sort of thing, and it's like, it's like me with the first UFO. So I looked up at it, looked down, looked back at it, gone. That was it.
Yeah.
And if I say it like that, it's so boring. It is boring.
It is.
But,
and like I say, a lot of our investigations, if you actually filmed it, you'd probably look and think, well, hang on, this is not like Ghost Adventures. It's just a couple of blokes sat around asking a few questions, and basically that is it. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm saying. We're like sort of old school. We're not all gadget up. We're not all because I'm a strong believer that no one knows what a ghost is. No one knows, and I just think it's how can you produce a certain bit of equipment, and I could be wrong. I'm no equipment expert, I could be wrong, but how can you make a bit of an equipment to catch something that you don't know what it is? If that makes sense. You know what I mean? I've had this argument before, and I've seen people, certain groups, and they'll do a live feed, and they'll go through like the equipment they use, and they say, on the K2 meter, this detect ghosts, and not just detect ghosts.
No, it picks up anything.
It picks up EMF.
Yeah.
That's what it picks. It doesn't detect ghosts. And not, you know what I mean? And that's why, like I say, we're old school. We sort of use the basics because I just don't see how these things, you know what I mean? It's like when you build a metal detector, there's something inside that detects metal. You've got to have that detects it, so you've got to have something that catches or detects a ghost, but you don't even know what a ghost is, or if it exists. So yeah, I'm like I say, I'm very old school with all the equipment and stuff. But yeah, like I say, if you want to, it'll be boring.
Well, I've got different bits of equipment, but I don't depending where I'm going and what the environment is, depends what I use. I've got a couple of night vision, like the old style DVD camcorders that I've got for like 10, 15 quid on Facebook.
Yeah.
I've got dowsing rods, pendulum, EMF meter, digital recorder, analog recorder, torches, couple of IR lights, couple of LED.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it. And then
that's it,
my phone.
Yeah,
my phone, my ears and my eyes.
Well, that's it. That's apart from the dowsing rods and pendulums. That's basically what we use. Camcorders. Yeah. We have them set up. Obviously, we put camcorders in, and obviously IR lights in the places where people have these experiences. But then we'll also walk around with one. But yeah, and we leave voice recorders around. We'll have one where we do EVPs ourselves, and like I say, torches and things like that. And basically, that's it. We don't generally have a full team going in. There's only a team of like 5 of us, so we don't have a big team. But we generally don't have everybody going in at once, so you can sort of rule things out. You know what I mean? The only people that's sort of in the house at the time we're doing the investigation, so there's nobody upstairs, nobody, so you can, any noises, that.
You'd stop in any other thing discrediting it. Yeah. No, I was going to say, I think really all you need is a camera and a torch.
Yeah.
If you had to pick 2 things, that'd be it. That'd be
absolutely.
Take.
And that's what
laser pointer.
Yeah, and that's generally what I did before I set up N.E.P.S. when I used to investigate on my own, and I used to go to like hotels and things and spend the night in them. It was just basically just a camcorder, and that's all it is. That's all I did. It's just myself and this camcorder.
Yeah, that's it. I think the less you take, the more chance of getting
Absolutely.
capturing
Yeah.
anything anyway.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like I've always said, if you're going look at it, if you're this cryptid or this spirit or whatever it is, this entity, and you've got people coming looking for you, and say you are there at the same time as all these humans turn up,
Mhm.
if there's 20 or 30 people there, you're not going to come out. You're going to stay where you are. You've more chance of
Absolutely.
being seen. But if there's only like, say, up to 5 people, if you want to get from point A to point B, you've more chance of doing it with less people about seeing it.
Absolutely. And I've even, a few times as well, I've even sort of finished the investigation, say around 3 o'clock in the morning, maybe 4 o'clock, depending on if anything's happened or not. But I've even sort of okayed it with the homeowners and just left the cameras on, and then we picked them up the next day. So if anything did happen while there was nobody there, we've got it.
Right. So do you get a lot of footage?
Yeah, do. If I'm honest with you, nothing clear cut. Some might say, yeah, that's really strange, and some might, you know, a lot of it we can sort of, like I say, the best footage is generally EVPs. That's the best footage we've had. We've had a thermal camera, and had quite bizarre, because of what it was, why it was bizarre. Because the same again, we don't know if it does detect things, but it showed you image of a dog running up to me, but there was no dog there. You know, it was quite bizarre. Yeah, it was. Yeah, I know it's strange. It was like, hang on, what's this?
Yeah.
Unless the owner had a dog and didn't tell us, but yeah, it was like, whoa.
Yeah. So does anything like that freak you out though?
No.
Got
because,
used to it.
Well, yeah, there's that, but also it's like I've said to people, and say, oh, don't you get scared? It's media, it's TV, it's films. You know what I mean? I've been doing this for a long time, and it's not just sort of the investigation side; it's the research into it.
Yeah.
And people might prove me wrong, but nobody I've come across in the world, like through documentation and stuff, has been seriously hurt by a ghost. So what's to be afraid of?
That's it.
You know what I mean? And people might say, well,
it's the unknown, isn't it?
It is, I think. But it's like I said, I think a lot of it's TV and social media, because they always associate of trying to scare you, which is that's part of the film. I get that, but I think that's what people associate it with, and it's like, well, you know, I wouldn't, but it's not like that, and it's
we've kind of been brainwashed, haven't we? Into
yeah, it is absolutely, and it's not like that, and it's it doesn't I never get like that.
No, thank you. So, have you got any projects or anything other than what you were speaking about before? Have you got any projects or anything you've got coming up that you can talk about?
Well, I've got a few things lined up. Like I said, I was the alien abduction sort of support group, and sky watching, organising that for people. Again, it's all free, you know what I mean? Because obviously you're just going in the middle of nowhere. Sorry, got my phone there. So yeah, I'm about organising that. I was on the lines, and I might discuss this further with yourself actually, after in the next few days. So I was going to set up something myself of regards to a show podcasting regarding ufology. So that was in the pipeline of what I was planning on doing, but obviously this type of thing is new to me, and obviously I was going to sort of regard that's the ufology side, but regards to N.E.P.S on looking at sort of two in the UK, sort of haunted locations. Again,
Yeah.
team only, but like haunted locations, as in sort of like, you know, hotels and things like that, and doing our like a live show on YouTube or social media.
Right, okay. Yeah, just give me a shout, and any ideas I've got, I'll throw them to you.
Mhm.
Cool. So I'm just saying. I've got a couple more questions. Oh, just before I go to them. So, what would be, or where would be your go-to place to investigate, regardless of how to get there and cost and all that?
Ooh. Oh, that is a tricky one.
Sorry for putting you on the spot.
Oh God.
I'm not-
Ooh. I think it would be N.E.P.S Park down Liverpool.
all right.
Yeah. Is it N.E.P Park? I'm sure it's N.E.P Park, is it? It's old.
I've heard of N.E.P Park, but I didn't think it was Liverpool.
I'm sure I could be wrong, but I'm sure it's Liverpool. Yeah. I wouldn't mind going there. But it's a bit expensive.
Yeah, imagine it didn't cost anything.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That'd be absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah,
Especially with the group with us as well. It'd be like, ooh, absolutely amazing.
So, do you do a lot of? I know you say you do a lot of private stuff, so I'm guessing it's more homes and residential. What's your take on cemeteries? So, i.e., Highgate,
Well,
more well-known one.
it's quite strange because I've noticed a lot of people have started doing them now. And when you think about it, where would the best place be?
Well,
You know what I mean? It's full of dead people.
Yeah.
So
he's going to be lucky.
Absolutely, there's a few in around my area. So yeah, with the weather being nice now, I was thinking about doing that myself because yeah, a lot of people seem to be doing it now and catching some good evidence.
Yeah. No, I do. It sounds weird, this, but I've always enjoyed walking around cemeteries, even as a kid.
Oh yeah, very peaceful.
Yeah. So it's never really bothered me. I've never.
No, it's like my old grand used to say: "It's the living you should be scared of, not the dead."
Yeah, definitely. Never. There's one cemetery I used to have to cut through to get home, and so I'd walk up, pace it, speed up a little bit, just to get through, because it's not, you didn't know he was there. He was hanging about. Anyone could be hiding. Do you know what I mean?
It's not just
people.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
But other than that, I always enjoy going to the cemetery.
Yeah.
So I'll be in there one soon.
Won't we all?
Oh yeah, but yeah, it's just. No, I was just wondering, like, because I know you said you do a lot of private stuff. Do you do any commercial places?
No, we haven't actually. It's just been many homes. We start, like I say, we start to sort of as a team, because sometimes you do get dry spots, and we might not be as active as other teams because obviously they'll do like sort of. But we are sort of like looking at like hiring out places ourselves, like chipping in and sort of, you know, and doing an investigation ourselves, in like sort of venues that people go to. So yeah.
No, thank you. Right. Next question is nickname. She wants to know, what is a classic UFO case that Glen is interested in and why?
Classic, I would say Rendlesham Forest, because I know a lot of people who, you know, I've got on social media who are connected to that case, and I just find it so fascinating, and you know, the accounts that people have, you know, it's just so. I just can't think, and like I say, you know, as an investigator, like I said, you've got to be on the skeptic side. But for me, it's just it's up there with Roswell. You know what I mean? It's just.
Have you ever been to Rendlesham?
I haven't. No. And I get asked that a few times, and people are quite surprised I haven't, and I keep meaning to, but I'm just busy with other things, if that makes sense. But I'm going to have to at some point, because
as soon as you get a chance, go. I've been quite lucky over the last few months. Who I work for, a lot of it is we go around the Rendlesham area.
Right.
So I literally driving at 5 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Make sure there's nothing behind me, obviously. I'm just there, like, behind every single tree on both sides.
But yeah, it's just
I love it down there.
It's just, you know, and yeah, that's number one for me. It's not just because it's over here, but it's just there's so much documentation on it and so much evidence, and it's yeah.
Have you spoke to Gary Heseltine?
I haven't. No. I've spoken to Jim Pedersen. I've got him on social media, but I haven't spoken to Gary. I've seen some of his videos and stuff.
Yeah, he was on a few weeks back. He's got a new book out called Non-Human, and it is more covering that. But he did go into detail about what happened and who was there and his belief on what their belief is, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, it was a good interview. Really enjoyed it. But
yeah, I know you've covered a lot on that. Yeah, it's, you know, it's going back to, I can't remember his name now. Something French, I can't remember what it was, but he was on a show with Gary, and you know, it's sort of his aspect to it was like, you know, obviously what the witnesses were more like a lighthouse, and I'm thinking, look, at the end of the day, I accept people might have their own beliefs, but to say something like a lighthouse, oh wait, come on, they were like so close to the craft they could touch it, and I'm thinking, oh wait, come on, you know, and I'm like, it's.
And the thing, he's not even, like I said, through work, there's not even a lighthouse in the area.
No.
Well, even if there is, you wouldn't. I've never seen one during the day. I've not been down there at night.
No, but that's it. You know, I mean, like the reports that were coming through, it's like, you know, they were that close to it, they could touch it, and I'm thinking, and your explanation is that it's a lighthouse. I'm like, come on, seriously. But yeah, it's fascinating, that case. Absolutely fascinating. 100% believe.
Yeah, that's one that's I've always been intrigued by it.
Oh, it's gone dark.
You're right. You not had a power cut, have you?
No.
Simon's just put Chris French.
That's it, Chris French.
Yeah.
That's better.
So yeah.
Yeah, it's.
What about Cannock Chase?
Don't know about.
You know much about it?
No. Cannock Chase, no. Where's that?
It's near Lichfield, down in Staffordshire. Oh, up in Staffordshire.
Oh yes. Yeah.
You've got the old. I've been a few times. Last time I went, I did a live stream from the German cemetery.
Yeah.
No, we had a walk. I didn't do a live stream at the chase itself. Signal's not very good, so I just took few little videos and photos and put it all together and made a video out of it. And that's it. It's just for people. I like doing that because for people that can't get there, places like that, because it is a beautiful place.
Absolutely, yeah.
And it's to make a video and put it out there and just to show people what's going on. Whether you get anything in the video is that'd just be a bonus.
Oh yeah, definitely, and like I say, it's something that we are going to be start doing. Absolutely, you know, doing more, like I say, live feeds and stuff. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but there's what's her name? Michaela Ford does Paranormal or What podcast.
Oh yes.
She was there last weekend over near there's a tower. I think it's got Pie Tower.
Mm-hmm.
And said there's some strange noises and that going on. See, I want to go there, at night.
Yeah.
No way I'm going on my own. You couldn't pay me enough. There'd have to be at least 4 people, me and 3 others. I'd be happy with that. And just do stay over. Not even take a tent, just make a little shelter.
Yeah.
It rains and that's it, really. Just go wandering about through the night and see if we pick anything up and don't get abducted. But I think the two places that I really want, even though I've been to Rendlesham, I've not been exploring. I've just driven through.
Yeah.
Like I said, I pulled up and had my lunch there and that, but I've not actually got out and gone walk about. But Rendlesham and Cannock Chase, they're the 2. I've been Cannock probably about 4 or 5 times in total investigating. Yeah. What this is going to sound really stupid now, but what drew me to that was the sightings of black-eyed kids in that area.
Oh, yes.
So it was like, right, let's go. The people that I went with, I said, well, we're just going out for the day. Don't worry about it. It's like, why are you taking all that stuff? It's fine, I'm just taking some photos.
Yeah.
I felt bad for not telling them, but if I'd have told them, they wouldn't have gone.
No, that's it.
So, didn't lie, just didn't expand the truth too far.
Exactly.
It's all right. No one went missing and we all got home safe, so it was all good. Yeah. But is there any areas up near you that are like proper high strangeness? Like loads of activity?
Apparently, the Schooner Hotel up in Cumbria way. It's a bit more further away from myself. I think it's about an hour and a half or so. But yeah, that's supposed to be really, really active. Again, I've been myself and nothing happened. So, like I say, it's difficult. But yeah, that's supposed to be. Can't. There's a few other places, but again, it's like it's difficult because I've been myself and nothing's happened. The Northeast Air Museum in Sunderland, that was quite good. Went there and that was quite active. Got some really good pictures from that. Because how their work is, it's really good. I think it's fascinating anyway. Because apart from the paranormal side of it, but that's one side. It's really interesting. But they find old warplanes. Can't remember what isn't it? When they dig them up,
excavate.
That's it, yeah, and put them back together, and then put them in the museum. So the actual planes that have been shot down in the war, and they've been put up. So obviously they're going to have a lot of history to it, and a lot of tells you stories of the people that died in it and stuff. And very, very active, very, very good place to go.
Yeah. There's it's not near me, but it's only about 40 minutes away. Duxford Airport. That's an old airbase, but they've got museums and that there, and they have you can go and they have air shows on there, but most of it you can go in the hangars and look at all the old style aircraft and what have you.
Yeah,
I think it's an old RAF base, so it's just off the M11 between Cambridge and Stansted.
Oh yeah,
it's nearer Cambridge. It's easy to get to.
Mm-hmm.
So there's another place I was going to say to you, but I can't think of it. It's gone now. No. Oh,
Scarborough Hotel's supposed to be really active.
Right. Were you saying Scarborough? I was going to say, have you had much accounts like coastal wise, like anything on beaches or on the shore?
No, not personally. I think it's called, if I'm pronouncing this right, Suter Lighthouse in Sunderland. That's supposed to be quite haunted, but I've never been myself. But yeah, but I've never encountered or never experienced. But I think I'm quite positive that there will be stuff.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. Oh, we say about lighthouses. You ever need anyone contact you with accounts in lighthouses?
No, no. I just know this is it's been on the paranormal map for quite some time now.
Yeah.
Very active. I've never been.
No. Okay. No, there's a museum near me it's called Abington Park.
Yeah.
It's right in the centre. It's just outside the town centre of Northampton. Apparently, there was the witch trials went on there
Mm.
back in probably I reckon about 1200 and whatever
Yeah.
around that time. But there's a museum there, and you can go in and do an investigation. You get 7 hours, up to 28 people. You get a
Mhm.
refreshment room and like a chill out space and what have you. But you get all to yourself. It's not cheap though. It's like, I think it's 450 quid for the 7
Yeah,
hours.
some of them are quite
So,
extortionate.
yeah, I think if I was going to pay that, I would want something to happen from the moment I get in there
Yeah.
until after I go home.
Yeah.
An attachment and everything, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
But I thought about doing it a couple of years ago, and there just weren't enough people interested in doing it.
Mhm.
The more people go, the cheap it works out.
Yeah, but like I said, then it goes down to the case of there's a lot of people there, so you got to rule things out and stuff. But
Yeah,
uh,
there are a lot of rooms there. So
mm.
even if
Oh,
you
yeah.
had 10 people, you could
Yeah.
if you split into twos, you still wouldn't cover every room.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
So
But yeah, it's some prices people are charging are just ridiculous.
I know. So that it's on the list. Whether it gets done or not, that's another
Yeah.
story. When I win the lottery, then yeah, I'll buy the place.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to talk about?
No. I'm happy with everything. Yeah, I think it's been great. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah. Well, we've still got a couple more questions.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah, I just wondered if there's anything that you wanted to add to anything that we spoke about
No.
already. Okay,
No.
right.
No.
So this is from your fellow local bloke, Umbra. Is there any experience Glenn has tried to recreate intentionally?
How does he?
So, say I'm guessing he means. So you've received an account from somebody,
Yeah.
and they've explained what's happened
Yeah.
and how it happened. Have you ever tried to recreate it?
Oh right. Yeah, I do that quite often. Because obviously part and parcel of trying to find out what's happening. So, regards to try to recreate it to see if if it's a logical explanation. So yeah, I do that quite often. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Next one is from Jojo, the moderator. Has Glenn ever seen a shadow person, and what does he think they are?
I've seen a shadow person. What? Again, I'm sorry for the answer, but I really don't know. I don't know what they are, but yeah, I've seen a shadow person. Yeah, but again, if I'm quite honest, it was the corner of my eye, so it
I
could
was
be something
just
like
about to say, was it
yeah,
direct or
it wasn't direct. But you know what, it did take me off guard. I was off guard when I seen it. Like I was like, yeah, it was the corner of my eye, but it was like, whoa, hang on.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Is it just one? Or
yeah, just one. Yeah, just the ones.
Is it where you're living now, or
No. It was actually at the North-East Air Museum.
oh right, okay.
Yeah, it was in there. But it's yeah, but like I say, it's difficult. But if I'm honest with you, I really don't know what it was. Really don't know, or what they are.
You just know it looked like a shadow person.
Yeah.
No, thank you. Right, we have one more question.
Mhm.
This is from Ancient Ruby. Now, I'm not sure on the abbreviation, but you might know. Has Glenn ever ventured into DM?
No. DM.
So I've got Dogman, direct messages. Dogman. Right, yeah, it is Dogman.
Oh, ventured into... No.
No.
Again, I find it really interesting. Like I said, I find all things like that interesting, but I've never come across myself. No one's ever been in contact with me regarding it. But yeah, again, it's one of them things that just fall in the category of paranormal. I do find it quite interesting. I do read about them. Things like that. Loch Ness monsters.
Yeah, is there anything that you don't follow up? Any type of creature, entity that you think that's not for me?
No, I wouldn't say so. I find them. I might have I think it's just how people associate things to. It's like, say, for instance, the Loch Ness monster. Yeah, it sounds terrible, but they've only put the monster thing there because nobody knows what it was. Now, what people claim to what it was is a logical explanation for it. And I strongly believe that's what it was. Do I believe it's there now? No, I don't. But the loch was connected to the sea, so it could have got out. And it's the same with Sasquatch and Bigfoot. It's how it's perceived on TV and things. Is it just something that we haven't come across yet? Yeah. Now, a lot of the people's theories on Bigfoot and stuff like that, it's that it's come through a portal from a different world. I don't believe in all that. I just think is it something that we haven't come across. It was like I can't remember how they described it, but it was a fascinating way of them describing it. And they were saying, no, it was this big scary creature came into the village. It was massive. It was orange and had a long neck, and it was called this. Nowadays we call it a giraffe. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's just something that they've never come across before, and they thought, "Wow, what's this?"
Yeah, I actually heard something very similar to that a couple of weeks ago. Imagine the first person or people to see a giraffe.
Yeah,
after having like dogs and wolves and bears and all that, then you see a giraffe. Just with the length of its neck. It's like,
yeah. So, regards to I think I find them, like I said, I find all interesting. It all fascinates me, and there's nothing where I'd look and think, nah, I don't. No. I might not believe in some of the, like I say, we got some of the reasons that might explain of why we don't see a lot of the Bigfoot and stuff like that. Well, like I say, the portals and stuff like that. No, I don't believe in all that, but I do believe that they are around. But I just don't think of them as like, how can I describe it? As in like something out of this world, or not part of this world. If you know what I mean.
Something from a different realm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Everyone's entitled to their own belief of what it is. Nobody's right, nobody's wrong. Until we're proven otherwise.
Exactly.
And at the moment, we haven't got any proof, whether the government don't know, they're not telling us, or not just the government, but scientists and all these agents that are working on it. Until they come out and say, we have definite proof that this is what they are, this is where they come from, this is how they travel, so on and so on. We've just got to keep speculating.
That's it.
That is all we can do. And this is why we do this with the podcast and going out investigating TV shows. And some of it's crap, but the majority is pretty good.
Because it's like when you look at NASA and all that, they didn't come out with a lot. They just came out and confirmed that there's things that that have in our airspace that they don't know what they are. You know what I mean? So it's just the same as, well, yeah, we know that ourselves. They're just acknowledging the fact. They're not saying it is from another world or anything like that. It's
I think they don't know. Yeah, and if they do know, they're just not telling us.
No.
Yeah. But I think that is it, because we're coming up to the 2-hour mark. I want to say a massive thank you for coming on.
No problem. I do apologise about the camera issue. Obviously, it might have been up and down because it's on my phone. I do apologise for that.
It's fine. So I've never seen it. I've been watching 24 the last couple of weeks. Never seen it before. And the camera's like that, so I've got used to it. So I used to get really bad motion sickness. You're watching TV shows like that and playing Call of Duty.
Yeah.
But watching that, I've gone all right now. So, but no, it's been great having you on. Thank you.
Thank you. No problem. Been great.
And thanks for being honest and not just saying what people expect you to say.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Yeah. No, really do appreciate it. So we're going to end it now. On Wednesday, we've got someone coming on that I think you know her, Cal Ridley.
Oh, yes.
You've done some work with her, haven't you?
Yeah.
She's worked at N.E.P.S and what have you. So, yeah. So we've got her coming on Wednesday. I think that's 8 o'clock. I can't remember. I've wrote it down somewhere, but I don't know where that somewhere is. And then next Friday, so I'm just getting my calendar up. So we've got Chris Evers coming on from
Chris, no,
magazine. Yeah. So I'm going up to the conference in Hull the end of September. So I've got tickets for that.
I'm looking to go myself. I keep meaning to go do it for the past few years.
Yeah,
I've never had the chance, but yeah.
Someone got me tickets last year, so it's like a bonus. And then going this year, and I'm doing the one in Manchester as well at the end of August, Bank Holiday weekend. So I'm doing the 2 days there because I can't get Friday off work because they're tight. So yeah, so that should be good. Well, hopefully, if you go,
absolutely,
go for a sneaky drink somewhere.
Absolutely, definitely.
I'm sure they've got pubs in Hull.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Chris will tell us where they all are.
Yeah. Right. So thanks again for coming on. It's been
no problem.
Pleasure. Thank you, everyone in the chat for the questions. Thank you, everyone who follow and subscribe on podcast. It's only been up and running. It's been up for like 2 months, but it's only just starting to kick off now. So this will get uploaded on there, and I can send you the link to it anyway.
Brilliant. Thank you.
So yeah, have a great weekend, everyone. See you on Wednesday. Don't have too much fun. Take care and goodbye.
Bye.